Hello and welcome inside Alumni Field in the Wilpon Complex in Ann Arbor, Michigan for another presentation of Michigan softball on WCBN Sports. I'm Alex Drain, the broadcaster for today's game between Michigan and Ohio State. It's the final regular season series to close out the home slate, the last three games here at Alumni Field for the Wolverines, and they've got a lot on the line. An opportunity to win the Big Ten regular season title, but they've got to sweep these three games this weekend. But you have to start with one, and that starts here today, Friday night, against Ohio State. We take a look at these two teams. Michigan enters this game at 41-9 with a 16-2 Big Ten record. Ohio State enters at 33-11 with a 13-6 Big Ten record. Ohio State tied for fourth in the Big Ten. Michigan leading the Big Ten by one game over Minnesota, and Minnesota playing Penn State this weekend, one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. So Michigan cannot count on any help. They need to take care of business here at home against their bitter rival, and we're just about ready for today's game. So we'll take a look at the Michigan Wolverines defense. It is pretty routine, the normal defense. Faith Canfield and Natalia Rodriguez up the middle with Blanco and Uden at the corners. In the outfield, left to right, Hogan, Rod, Peters, and Falk. Katie Alexander behind the plate, and the ace, Megan Bobian, in the circle here today for the Wolverines. So, Ohio State will get ready to take on Michigan. Ohio State enters this game on a 7-game winning streak. They swept Maryland and Michigan State and then beat Pitt in their last home game of the season before heading up north here to take on the Wolverines in Ann Arbor. Ohio State actually started the season 13-1. They're 20-10 since then with the 13-6 record in Big Ten play. So Michigan's got better numbers than Ohio State, but you can never count out your rival. And as we get ready for the top of the first, it'll be the leadoff hitter for the Buckeyes, Bailey Sturgeon, the left fielder. She'll be leading off, followed by the arrow so dangerous Lily Piper, and then the number 3 hitter, Shelby McCombs. And this is a big hitting Ohio State team. They enter with very impressive marks across both Big Ten and college softball when it comes to power. They have 3 hitters in double-digit home runs, with a 4th with 9. So Bobian's got to be careful with the power for Ohio State. And the first pitch of today's game is a strike over the plate against Bailey Sturgeon. Sturgeon, the left fielder in today's game, wearing number 13, a lefty hitter, a senior, one of 7 seniors on the Ohio State squad, .323 batting average, but not much power. The 0-1 pitch is a ball. One of the few Ohio State players without a lot of power. 0 home runs for her, 4 doubles, 1 triple, having played in 44 games, 42 of those starts. Pretty solid season for the outfielder. The 1-1 pitch, checked the swing on a pitch a little high. Appealed down by home plate umpire Brian Smith down to third base umpire Liz Hammerschmidt. And it is a little high, no go on the check swing. So the count 2-1 on Sturgeon. Bobian puts the hand and the ball in the glove, and here's a liner right to first into the glove of Tara Blanco, and the first out of the game recorded by the Wolverines in the first at-bat, which will bring up Lily Piper to the plate. And if there's any one player who is indispensable to Ohio State's success, it is Lily Piper, a junior shortstop who's hitting .411 on the season with a staggering 17 home runs, .879 slugging percentage. She's 5th in home runs per game nationally, 8th in slugging percentage. One of the most dangerous hitters in the country, and she takes strike 1. So Bobian, she's faced a lot of great hitters and a lot of good teams in non-conference play, but Lily Piper is one special hitter, and there's a strike delivered by Bobian on the first pitch of the at-bat. Piper's a righty against the lefty Bobian. The 0-1 is a ground ball to third. Uden's got a fire across the diamond, and she does for the second out of the inning. So good start for Bobian, 2 up, 2 down of Ohio State, and good to get the confidence in retiring a dangerous hitter as Piper. But there's another dangerous hitter right behind her, and that's actually the starter for the Buckeyes in today's game, Shelby McCombs, a senior who will get the start in the circle, but she, like Tara Blanco, is a dangerous two-way threat, a .363 average for the senior. And she swings and pops it up down the right field line, arcing into foul territory, and it just does go foul. That was very close along the line, but Aaron Peterson all over that call. The first base umpire down the right field line. So it's 0-1 on McCombs. Bobian enters this game with an 0.88 ERA. Michigan fans who followed the team all year long certainly know how good she is. The 0-1 pitch, a little inside, stands up McCombs as she backs out of there. McCombs has started 42 games for the Buckeyes, nearly every single one. They've played 44 on the season. And her numbers, very impressive. The 12 homers, 31 RBIs, 742 slugging. That pitch is high, too, and it goes off the glove of Alexander. And Tara Blanco over there at first is going to walk a few paces over towards the circle, and Katie Alexander is going to come out to try to settle Beaubien down. It's definitely been a concern for Michigan, the workload on Beaubien. In the game they stunningly lost to Western Michigan on Tuesday, Carol Hutchins was not going to bring in Megan Beaubien under any circumstances in that one. She got the start in the Wednesday game at Michigan State and looked very sharp, looking to refine that form here today. 2-1 pitch, off speed, swing and a miss. There by McCombs. That's the danger when you face Beaubien. Her ability to go from the heater to the off speed and pull the string on the hitters makes the count 2-2 on McCombs. Beaubien puts the ball in the glove, the windup, and delivers the 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Outside pitch and got her swinging, and a 1-2-3 first inning for Megan Beaubien, just the way the home crowd wanted. And we go to the bottom of the first. Our score, Michigan 0, Ohio State 0. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports. So as we get set for the bottom of the first inning, it'll be the usual 1-2-3 for the Wolverines. Faith Canfield, Natalie Peters, and Tara Blanco, 1-2-3 for Michigan as they look to get started. They finally broke through a little bit of a dry spell in the Wednesday game. They had gone about 20 innings, having scored only 4 runs elapsed from when they took the 4-0 lead against Indiana in the Saturday game last weekend. They really struggled to score on Sunday, only scored 2 against Western on Tuesday, and had no runs through 3 innings against Michigan State. And then finally it all came through, a big Haley Hoganrod hit to bring in some runs, and they scored 3 in the 4th, 5 in the 5th, and just like that the game was over on a run rule on Wednesday. So Michigan looking to come out and get some of that power back going and score some runs against McCombs, the starter for Ohio State. McCombs enters this game with a 3.08 ERA, 15-4 record, 19 starts, so this will be her 20th, but she struggles with the walk. 109 hits and 85 walks in 129 and 2/3 innings pitched, 111 strikeouts. Only a 228 batting average again, so she's not allowing a ton of hits, but she is having issues with the command, and Michigan does like to draw their fair share of walks, so we'll see if the Wolverines can exploit that. They have seen McCombs before. They actually saw her last year in the most recent appearance between these two teams. And McCombs was masterful, pitching 7 shutout innings with just 3 hits allowed and 10 strikeouts. So Michigan looking to figure out McCombs here in this one as we get set for the bottom of the first. Canfield digs in, and McCombs fires the first pitch just a little outside, and it's ball 1. A really good crowd for this one. All 3 games this weekend sold out as the Wolverines fans trying to watch their home team clinch a Big Ten title. Canfield grounds the second pitch over to third, and an easy play there to retire Canfield by the third baseman Carver. So that'll bring out 1 out, and to the plate comes Natalie Peters. Peters steps in. The junior hitting .320 on the season. She started all but 1 game for the Wolverines. 49 games played, 49 games started. Not a big power hitter being a slapper, but definitely able to get on base with the .320 average and a solid .383 on base percentage. That pitch misses the zone from McCombs, so 1-0 the count on Peters. Peters peers in at McCombs, and she swings and grounds it over to short. Going to have to be a quick play there by Piper, but she makes it and retires Peters. Peters so quick down the line, but Piper made sure to get a good transfer from the glove to the hand and throw across accurately to nip Peters at first. So with 2 outs, that brings up Tara Blanco. Blanco has arguably having the best year of her Michigan career, both at the plate and in the circle. And she takes strike one, a .362 average entering this one, but a .506 OBP. She's been drawing a lot of walks for the Wolverines. 10 home runs on the season, 42 RBIs for Blanco. And she looks at strike one, 0-1 the count. McCombs delivers that pitch low, 1-1. Against Blanco. Madison Uden on deck. Michigan wearing the pink jerseys in the pink game here today, facing Ohio State, who have the gray jerseys and the scarlet pants. The 1-1 coming to Blanco is called strike. So now the count goes to 1-2 on Blanco. Blanco steps out and does one practice swing before putting the feet back in. Readies the bat. The 1-2 pitch is inside, 2-2. Blanco, a very patient hitter. She's willing to wait and take her cuts. Only 11 strikeouts in 130 at-bats for Blanco. The 2-2 coming, and she's just out in front of it a little bit and taps it down the third base line foul. Just past her coach, Carol Hutchins, who's down there in the third base coaching box. Wolverines looking to get some runners on and jumpstart their performance here in this one. McCombs checks the wristband, which she's wearing on her left wrist, steps back on, and gets ready to deliver the 2-2 pitch. Oh, that was a nice off-speed. Blanco way out in front of it, and she waves and misses. So, just like that, a 1-2-3 inning for McCombs. Both pitchers with strong first innings, and our score is 0-0 after one inning of play as we go to the top of the second here in this matchup. Michigan defense going back out there as they get ready to take on Ohio State here in the top of the second inning. It'll be Clark, Carver, and Goodwin for the Buckeyes as we get set in the top of the second. Beaubien coming on out there to do her warm-up pitches. Beaubien, interestingly enough, is really, really good, and even in the national numbers. I was looking at the media pack before the game, and Beaubien #1 in the NCAA in wins with 30. That's the 11th time in Michigan history a pitcher has had 30 wins in a season, and she is the 8th different Michigan pitcher to accomplish that feat and just the 3rd freshman to ever do it. The all-time record for wins in a season by a Michigan pitcher is 38 by Jenny Ritter in 2005. That's going to be a tough record to break for Beaubien. It's going to require a deep tournament run, which certainly Michigan is definitely aiming for, but easier said than done. A lot of good teams out there, and they have to focus just simply on this game right here with Ohio State. Beaubien steps on the rubber, and we're getting ready to get going here in the top of the second. Her first pitch is a little low to Emily Clark. Ball one, 1-0. The 1-0 coming is a strike. Gets the inside corner. Clark tried to stand up a little bit as if to say it was inside and sell it to home plate umpire Brian Schmidt. He was having, or Smith, excuse me, he was having nothing of it. So 1-1 count on Clark, the second baseman. The 1-1 pitch, swinging a fly ball, right field. That one's hit well, back to the track, to the wall. It's gone, a home run. And Ohio State takes the early 1-0 lead over Michigan. That is the 12th home run of the season for Emily Clark, one of the 3 Ohio State hitters with double-digit home runs, and OSU off to a hot start here in this one. Well, Beaubien needs to shake it off and get back out there and get ready to face the next hitter. You're going to have to be careful against this type of power, and they'll make him pay, as Ohio State did right there. And it'll bring up Nikki Carver to the plate. And that pitch is just a little inside. Carver with 5 home runs on the season, not nearly the same power as those middle 2 through 4 hitters in the order, but with 5 home runs of her own, she is certainly a threat. The 1-0 pitch, and that one is lined into the glove of Natalia Rodriguez on a liner, extending up a little bit to haul it in for the first out of the inning. That's a nice snag there by Rodriguez. Michigan entered this game one of the best fielding teams in the country. They had an uncharacteristically bad game against Western on Tuesday with a few errors in that one, but they still rank number 2 in the NCAA in fielding percentage as Beaubien's first pitch is in the dirt. A .987 fielding percentage for the Wolverines. They are .04 behind Oklahoma for the top spot in college softball, and that excellent defense showing up here in the top of the second. The 1-0 pitch is outside as well, so Beaubien falling behind Carver here. 2-0. Or excuse me, Goodwin. Goodwin is another hitter with a lot of power, and that one is popped up. Foul ground. Blanco ranging over, makes the catch, coming in just a few paces to haul it in, and that's 2 outs in the inning here for Michigan. Goodwin is sat down, which will bring Bree Betchel to the plate. First baseman, hitting .265. Betchel is another one of the hitters without a lot of power. The only other one, along with the leadoff hitter Sturgeon, did not have a home run on the team. She takes strike 1. Betchel, though, does have a couple of triples to her credit. 3 doubles as well, so some speed for Betchel. And there's a swing and a miss. So Beaubien ahead 0-2 in the count, looking to get out of this frame with only the 1 run on the home run given up. And she's 1 strike away from doing so. Puts the hand in the glove. The 0-2 pitch is a little high. Count now 1-2 on Betchel. Betchel, a junior, wearing number 11 for the Buckeyes. The 1-2 pitch, just a little outside. Well, good takes there. Betchel, a .329 on-base percentage, but her average significantly lower with 2 outs, .226 in those scenarios. 6 walks and 71 at-bats for Betchel. The 2-2 pitch, she just taps it a little bit late on that swing, manages to tap it foul. The wind has died down a tiny bit, but is still a big factor in this game, and certainly something to watch, blowing out towards the outfield. There's a pitch, and swung and just tap foul once again. So Betchel doing a good job to stay alive against Beaubien. The American flag definitely blowing in this wind. You got to think it could blow some of these hits out a little bit farther than perhaps thought. The 2-2 pitch coming. That one's in the dirt. Alexander blocks it, throws down to first for the out, and it is complete. Complete the strikeout, and that'll end the inning. Second strikeout for Beaubien, and we go to the bottom of the second. But Ohio State gets 1. They take an early 1-0 lead. In this one, our score, Ohio State 1, Michigan 0. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports. Michigan's got the Alumni Band here playing for this weekend series. All 3 games this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all sold out. And there's still some fans finishing to file in. Got a few open seats in the chairback area, a few in the bleachers. The outfield pretty much filled up. But definitely a good crowd to watch, a good matchup. And it's a nice temperature here today. The wind is making it a little bit cooler than it might be otherwise. The games Tuesday and Wednesday were very warm. Game time temperatures above 80 degrees. The game time temperature today, 64 degrees. So pleasant enough you can have short sleeves, but also not scorching either. And the sun shielded by enough clouds that those bleachers are rather pleasant to sit in. The pink game here today means that a number of fans in attendance are wearing the pink Michigan shirts, which the players also wearing their pink jerseys with the white pants and the pink socks. So the mid-inning clock finishes up, and it'll bring up Madison Uden, 4-5-6 to begin the bottom of the second inning. Uden digs in, and she takes a ball high, 1-0. Uden, a 366 average, 443 on-base percentage. She draws her fair share of walks, a 537 slugging. She's got some power, 10 doubles, 1 triple, 3 homers. The sophomore third baseman for the Wolverines. The 1-0 coming is a little outside, 2-0. As we mentioned, McCombs does walk quite a few, and Uden draws her fair share, so she's going to be patient. And lefty hitter facing the righty McCombs. The 2-0 coming, and Uden gets a piece of it and into the glove there of the third baseman, Carver. Nice play by Carver, and a little soft pop-up to the third base side. Didn't get very high, though. She had to extend just enough to haul it in. So to bring up Katie Alexander. Alexander, the starting catcher, as usual in this game. She started just about every game behind the plate except for the one on Tuesday, where she was the designated player and Alex Subject started behind the plate. She takes a pitch a little high and tight and backs out, 1-0. So McCombs has been falling behind a few of these hitters, but no good contact off of her yet for the Wolverines. Alexander taps the plate once, cocks the bat over the right shoulder. The 1-0 pitch coming is a strike. Alexander steps in. The 1-1 is low and outside, 2-1. She's 12 walks on the season to 24 strikeouts and 123 at-bats. The 5 homers has been a welcome sight for a Michigan team that has struggled at times in terms of looking for power hitters. Count is 2-1, a little off speed, and Alexander looks at a strike. She started to flinch as if she was going to swing, but the off-speed fooled her a little bit. Her swing was going to be way early, so she held off and took it for a strike. The count now 2-2. McCombs steps back on, the 2-2 coming, and she swings and hits it high and into shallow right field. Coming on and making the catch is Sansom. And just like that, 2 outs in the inning. So far, no really good contact off of McCombs. We'll see if Aiden Falk can change that. Falk, a 310 average and a 361 OBP. Steps in, a lefty hitter playing right field. She can also play some first base. Was once a catcher in her career. Has moved all around the diamond in her time at Michigan. She takes a ball outside. So again, McCombs not hitting the first pitch strikes consistently, but hasn't really mattered in this one so far. She's been able to retire the first 5 Michigan hitters as we play in the bottom of the second. And that one misses, 2-0. McCombs turns around and dusts the rubber off with her foot before she steps back and peers into the dugout as if looking for signs, checks the wristband, steps on with the right foot. Puts the glove down, the 2-0 coming, and Falk gets a piece of it, fouls it between her own legs backwards towards the Michigan dugout on the first base side of the diamond. 2-1 the count now on Falk. Falk peers in at McCombs, who delivers. The 2-1 coming. That one's outside, and the count goes to 3-1 now on Aiden Falk. Falk ahead, 3-1. We'll see if she gets anything good to swing at. Coming is a ball. And so Falk will trot on down to first. Michigan's first base runner of the game comes in the form of a 2-out walk. Well, that'll bring up the 7-hitter, Taylor Swearingen. It's senior weekend at the ballpark. Michigan saying farewell to 6 seniors, and Swearingen along with Falk are one of them. There's a ball inside. Swearingen getting just her 4th start of the season. She's playing the designated player role today. The 1-0 coming. That one is outside. Lou Allen had held the designated player role for much of the season after coming back from injury, but a late season slump has prompted Carol Hutchins to try to shake things up. And we've seen a number of different players. Alexander was there on Tuesday, Thais Gonzalez on Wednesday, and now Swearingen on Friday. So a revolving door at designated player right now. But Swearingen's ahead 2-0, and she draws a lot of walks. 8 walks in 23 plate appearances this season for Swearingen. The 2-0 coming, she gets a piece of it and flies it down the line, a base hit. It drops in, and Michigan has something going with 2 outs. Swearingen single puts 2 on and 2 out for Haley Hogenrod. Haley Hogenrod will get ready to take her cuts with Swearingen standing on first and Falk down there at second. Hogenrod it was that broke through in the game on Wednesday with the big hit against against Michigan State. She's looking for another one against a rival here, and she takes strike 1. McCombs finds the outside part of the plate. The count is 0-1. Hogenrod, a sophomore, has emerged as a steady outfielder for the Wolverines, and the 0-1 is fouled off the plate. So McCombs finally gets ahead of a hitter, as she is ahead 0-2 on Hogenrod. 3 homers on the year for Hogenrod, who has really gotten a lot better once Big Ten play started. Michigan got back. She's had good numbers at Alumni Field, but also has had some big hits on the road as well. Some big ones in Indiana this past weekend, and then against Michigan State on Wednesday. The 0-2 coming is outside. Falk darted a few paces off of second, but unlikely to run. Falk definitely not one of Michigan's premier base stealers. Swearingen on first, Falk on second. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. The 1-2 pitch. Woo! A gutsy take there from Haley Hogenrod, but it is a ball, and the count is 2-2. Standing up behind home plate is the catcher, Gavin, looking into the dugout, looking for the signs on how to attack Hogenrod. The count is 2-2 on the left fielder. McComb steps on and delivers the 2-2 pitch. Hogenrod gets a piece and fouls it back to the screen, staying alive in a battle with McCombs. McCombs gets ready to do the 2-2 once again with Hogenrod. The pitch, and she swings and hits it. It's going to be a fair ball down the left field line. Rounding third and heading home is Falk. She will score, and Michigan has tied the game at 1. Haley Hogenrod. A single down the left field line, grazing the chalk as it stayed fair, and Michigan has tied the game with Ohio State. A big 2-out hit from Haley Hogenrod, her 2nd straight game that she gets a 2-out hit to put Michigan on the board. And that'll bring up Natalia Rodriguez, trying to keep the 2-out hit parade going. A walk by Falk, and then Rodriguez hits it to third. That should get Ohio State out of the inning, and it does. Gloved by Carver, and she throws across the diamond to Goodwin to end the inning. But Michigan with some big 2-out offense. A walk by Falk, followed by singles from Swearingen and Hogenrod, ties the game at 1. Both teams get a run in their offensive halves of the 2nd inning, and Michigan will go back to work. Our score in the field. Our score, Michigan 1, Ohio State 1. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports. They're honoring the Michigan Softball Academy, which took place last night. Since 2007, that event has raised over $1 million for breast cancer research and awareness, treatment, etc. Really good cause. A lot of good pictures and interactions with the fans last night. And they're wearing the pink jerseys in continuation of that event here today. As Hail to the Victors sounds, courtesy of the Alumni Band, we get ready for the top of the third inning. Beaubien will go back out there. She's been pretty darn good so far. 2 strikeouts, 7 batters faced, but 1 hit happened to leave the yard. It was a solo home run, which is how Ohio State has gotten on the board. And that first pitch is a ball low and outside to Becca Gavin. It'll be 8-9-1 for the Buckeyes. Gavin, White, and then back to Sturgeon at the top of the order. Gavin, the catcher, a senior. And that pitch, a check swing strike. Oh, boy. That one was down in the dirt. Not even close to the plate, bouncing several feet before the plate. But she extended just enough to go fishing, and up with the right arm went Brian Smith. Here's the 1-1 coming. Strike call there. Very quick and emphatic strike calls today by Brian Smith. I appreciate that. The count 1-2 on Gavin, one of the 7 Ohio State seniors on the roster. The 1-2 coming a little high, 2-2 on the rise ball. Sturgeon, McCombs, Goodwin, Gavin, and White, 5 seniors in the starting lineup for the Buckeyes in today's game. Beaubien puts the ball in the glove. The 2-2, check swing. They're going to appeal down to first, and it did not go, says Aaron Peterson. That'll load the count full, 3-2 on the ball in the dirt. Fans not big on that call, but it'll load it up, and the payoff pitch will be coming from Beaubien. Puts the ball in the glove. The windup, the 3-2. Got her! Strike 3. Woo, nice off-speed pitch. Froze Gavin, and she stood there like a house by the side of the road. And that'll be the first out of the inning. So bring up the number 9 hitter for Ohio State, Taylor White, the center fielder. Takes the first pitch inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Taylor White in her 43rd start of the season, a .240 hitter. The 1-0 is a strike. Good location. And evens the count at 1-1. Beaubien looks to the dugout for the signs. She does not call her own game. She gets dictated from the dugout. There's a pitch foul to the screen. The count goes to 1-2. Blanco scoops it up off the screen and fires it over to Megan Beaubien. 1-2 the count on White. Michigan looking for the second out of the inning. Beaubien steps back on with the left foot first. Leaves the right behind and delivers the windup. The 1-2 pitch is a little high and outside. So the count now 2-2 on White. Beaubien expending some pitches here in a battle with with White. She puts the ball in the glove. The windup, the delivery, the 2-2 swing and a miss. Down in the zone again. The off-speed pitch produces a strikeout. That's now number 4 on the game for Megan Beaubien. Struck out the first 2 here in the third, and we go back to the top of the order with Bailey Sturgeon. And Sturgeon, not a power hitter, much more of a speedy hitter. Means that everyone's going to come in the outfield playing way in, as is the infield, and the slapper swings and taps it foul down the third base side. Blanco and Uden both playing several paces in past the bag. Uden a little bit tighter at third. Canfield and Rodriguez both pulled in, and the outfielders all pulled in, but the left side a little bit more so. That pitch is fouled again by Sturgeon. Now the count is 0-2. Sun has started to come back out from the clouds as the wind continues to be a factor. Beaubien peers in, the 0-2 coming. Just off the plate, a good take there by Sturgeon. Sturgeon 6 walks in over 130 plate appearances, so not a big threat to walk, and to be expected for a slapper. Focus more on putting the ball in play and using the speed. The 1-2 coming a little high and outside, and the count goes to 2-2. Two and two on Sturgeon. Here's the pitch, and that one is fouled. Ooh, look out down the third base line and off the netting in front of the Ohio State dugout. Having to get out of the way there was Ohio State third base coach over there. Sturgeon shows bunt. The 2-2 coming from Bobby, and just getting a piece. Barely tipping it. A very off-kilter, odd-looking swing there, but just managing to get a piece. So the count stays 2-2 on Bailey Sturgeon, wearing number 13, the outfielder, a senior. The 2-2 once more. Got her! Strike three, and Bobian strikes out the side. Really good location on her pitches and carving them up. And we go to the bottom of the third. Our score, Michigan 1, Ohio State 1. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports.
For my sister, a two-time cancer survivor. I played for Lori T, who lost her battle over cancer last summer. She's a very close friend of mine, and I pray for her family every day. I played for my grandma, Carmela, who beat breast cancer. I love you. Go Blue.
And we get ready and set here for the bottom of the third. Over at the baseball field across from the softball field, we have a high school game, I believe, going on over there as the Michigan baseball team on the road at Rutgers this weekend. One of the few instances of the softball and the baseball teams not having series at the same time, which has been kind of the norm this season. McCombs goes back out there and doing her wind-up and deliveries as this capacity crowd taking in a fine game so far. Michigan and Ohio State knotted at one. It'll be back to the top of the order. Canfield, Peters, Blanco, who didn't have much success in the top of the first. In fact, McCombs sat down the first 5 Michigan hitters before the bats finally broke through for the Wolverines. Falk drew a 2-out walk followed by Swearingen single and a Hoganrod single. Swearingen single, Hoganrod single to tie the game at 1. Michigan looking to get the lead here in the bottom of the third. So Canfield steps in. She grounded out to third her first time up. And she takes a ball, 1-0. Ohio State in their defensive alignment. The corners are playing about bag level, whereas second and short playing at the edge of the dirt. The 1-0 coming to Canfield is outside. Left fielder Sturgeon playing a little bit in, White in center, a few paces behind the big M logo, and Sampson in right playing almost no doubles depth. An interesting alignment against the righty Canfield. The 2-0 coming is outside, and now Canfield ahead 3-0, and McCombs again has struggled with command issues, and that was how she got into trouble in the second. The 2-out walk to Falk got it started, trying to keep a dangerous hitter off the base path, but the count 3-0 on Canfield, who steps backwards a little bit, and then she tries to sell it, but it is a called strike by home plate umpire Brian Smith. The count 3-1 on Canfield. McCombs delivers. Canfield way out in front of that one. Swing and a miss before it was even near the plate. So the count goes full, 3-2. But Canfield, not much of a strikeout threat. 4 strikeouts and 174 at-bats. She's a mighty tough one to get. 3-2, she gets a piece of it and flies it into left. Backing up and making the catch is Sturgeon, and that right there is why they played the alignment the way they did, because she was pulled in right at the perfect depth to be able to make that play rather easily. So a long at-bat results in a flyout for the first out of the inning, and they'll bring up Natalie Peters. Peters grounded out to short her last time up. And she lays down a bunt. That's a good one. McCombs has got to hurry. Throw down. Not in time. A very late call there by Erin Peterson at first base. But Peters just does beat it out. And that'll be a one-out infield single on the bunt by Peters to put ducks on the pond for Tara Blanco. Blanco steps in. She puts her right foot right about where the edge of the plate is on the bottom side, the left foot out in front of the plate, and she takes a ball outside, low and away. Peters down there at first, definitely a threat to steal. 13 steals on the year for her, 5 times caught stealing. That's a 72.2%, and she certainly looks like she's ready to go. The 1-0, and she takes a few steps off and then retreats. Gonna see if they test the arm of Gavin as that pitch was outside. 2-0 on Blanco. No real need to run into outs on the base paths when you have Blanco and Uden coming up. The 2-0 coming, that's a ball. And now the count 3-0 on Tara Blanco. Madison Uden on deck, 3-0, and Blanco's maybe the only hitter in the Michigan lineup who has the ability to go on 3-0, the green light from Carol Hutchins. 3-0 coming is a ball a little high, and a 4-pitch walk issued to Tara Blanco puts 2 Wolverines on with only 1 out, and it brings Madison Uden to the plate. Uden happens to be one of Michigan's best hitters with runners in scoring position, 442 on the season. 23 hits and 52 at-bats. Also pretty good with the bases loaded. And a .326 average with 2 outs. So she's good in pretty much any situation, but certainly with the one with the runners in scoring position where she does a lot of damage. Looking to do it here. First pitch to Uden is a strike. McCombs finally finds the strike zone. Uden popped up to third her first time up. And now the second baseman, number 20, Clark, has asked for a visor, and someone from the Ohio State dugout came to hand it to her. And she flips her hair through it and then takes her normal position against the lefty hitter Uden, wearing number 7. And she stares in at McCombs. The 0-1 pitch, off speed, I guess a little low. It looked pretty good, but a confident take there from Uden, who then takes a big practice swing before stepping out, putting the left foot back in, then the right. Points the bat towards McCombs, puts 2 hands on it, cocks it over the left shoulder, and the 1-1 pitch is a little low and tight. Becca Gavin, the catcher, really holding the ball a long time, even after Brian Smith, the home plate umpire, has made his decision, trying to sell these pitches as McCombs' command has deteriorated. Here in the bottom of the third, the 2-1 coming is a strike. Good job to find the plate off speed from McCombs. They'll make the count 2-2. Alexander waiting on deck for the Wolverines. Uden steps back in. She awaits the 2-2 from McCombs. Outside, going to throw down, going to try to pick off Peters at second, but not at all in time there. She manages to dive back. An aggressive base runner looking to come around on a potential hit from Uden. There was a call, was the ball, so the count now 3-2 on Maddie Uden. Here's the pitch coming, and she swings and gets a piece of it in the infield. That one is going to be caught again. Another pop out to the third baseman in a very similar play to her first out, almost identical. So that'll be 2 outs. That's a big out for Shelby McCombs, but she's got to get one more, and she's facing the capable Katie Alexander, who flew out to right field her last time up. As usual, coming to the plate to her usual walk-up song, "Peace of Mind" by Boston. She puts the left foot nearly at the front edge of the batter's box, and she swings and grounds it right into the dirt as it trickles foul down the third base side, 0-1. Steps out to take some practice swings. Wind continuing to blow left to right out towards those right field bleachers. If Alexander puts it out that direction, it could carry. The 0-1 is a little low and outside for a ball. Ohio State definitely accounting for that win and positioning Sampson in right a bit deeper than they're positioning Sturgeon in left and White in center. The 1-1 pitch, Alexander thought about swinging and then held up but took it for a strike anyway. 1-2 the count on the Celine Slugger, a local product, a junior catcher. She digs back in. Peters on second, Blanco on first. The 1-2 coming, and she gets a piece. That was a real hot pitch there, and she just got enough of it, and it rocketed back towards the screen for a big ricochet off that. Staying alive at a battle with Shelby McCombs, who's now reached pitch number 50 on the day. Michigan making her work. The 1-2 one more time. Alexander grounds it right to McCombs. The underhand flip to first, and that'll end the inning. So Michigan puts 2 on, but unable to bring them around. We go to the fourth. Our score, Michigan 1, Ohio State 1. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports.
Hey fans, let's check in again with our in-game host, Julie Ghostin, who's out in right field.
All right, fans, today we're out in right field for today's closest to the line contest presented by Bell. Our contestants are going to throw the ball, and the one who gets closest to the white line is going to win a $50 gift card to Bell.
We've got a
All right, so fans, are we ready?
a contest down on the field. Several contestants trying to throw a ball as close as they can towards the foul line. Well, there's one looked pretty good, just rolled past. None of them terribly accurate, but the first one to throw ends up winning it as it just rolled past the line into the dirt area. She'll take home the gift card to Pretzel Bell. In this contest, the capacity crowd watching as we starting to approach the top of the fourth. The grounds crew out there raking the dirt while Megan Bobian delivers her warm-up pitches. Katie Alexander had to strap on the catching gear to get right back out there. She was the last batter up in the inning. And now Bobian beckons the infield in for a conversation in the circle, setting the defensive alignments the way she wants it. And now we get ready to play in the top of the fourth. It will be Lily Piper leading off, followed by McCombs and then Clark. This is the dangerous 2-3-4, the big hitters in the Ohio State lineup. And Bobian's got to be careful. Her first pitch is a check swing. A peel down to first did not go. Piper, McCombs, and Clark now have 41 home runs between them, 17, 12, and 12. So a lot of power here. The 1-0 pitch, and Piper hits it. That one is deep, and it's backtrack wall, gone! And we talked about the power issue. There it is again, another home run for the Buckeyes. Another leadoff home run, too. That's Lily Piper's 18th of the season, and she hits it the opposite way out to right center, and Ohio State retakes the lead 2-1. Well, Ohio State now, 2 hits on the game, but both 2 have left the yard, and definitely a factor with this win. Combined power hitters with the windy environment blowing towards the outfield, and they're going to get out. And indeed, that one got out in quite a hurry. It lined out, no arc on that one. So that'll bring up Shelly McCombs. Bobian's got to shake it off and keep competing. There's a strike. There's a strike, 0-1 on McCombs. Beaubien's now given up 7 homers on the year. 0-1 pitch grounded right to third. Nice play by Uden to snag it. Fires across the diamond to Blanco there. 1 out in the inning. So 1 out, and it'll bring up Clark. She had the home run in the second. Both the Buckeyes' home runs have come as leadoff home runs in their respective innings. Otherwise, Beaubien has been really, really good. 5 strikeouts on the day outside of those, but hard to ignore. And Ohio State is a team that really likes to score, and they're significantly better when they do. And that pitch, a ball high to Clark, and it will bring out Alexander and Carol Hutchins to the circle to have a conversation. Try to settle down the young pitcher. Hutchins continuing to talk between Alexander and Beaubien, perhaps changing the game plan a little bit. They take the signs from the dugout when Beaubien is in the circle, and so Hutchins gets to set the game plan on how they want to attack these Ohio State hitters. And Clark, ever so dangerous, got to be careful. And Ohio State situationally happens to be 1-7 when they score 2 runs or less, but if you do the math, 32-4 when they score 3 runs or more. So they've got 2 in this one, but it's that third that tends to be pretty big in terms of these matchups. There's a strike to Clark, 1-1 the count. Beaubien working quickly, delivers, and a foul back to the screen. So the count now 1-2 on Emily Clark. Clark, an interesting batting stance. The 1-2 pitch, she swings and pops it up softly on a sinking liner towards Canfield. She makes the easy play. So 2 outs in the inning now. And that'll bring up Nikki Carver. Carver lined out to shortstop on a nice leaping play by Natalia Rodriguez last time up. Beaubien puts the glove and delivers. First pitch is swung on and fouled back to the screen. Alexander quickly jumps up from her crouch and retrieves it off a strong ricochet from the backstop and fires it back onto Beaubien, who again, a very quick worker, speeds the game along, steps right back on and is ready to go. The 0-1 pitch is a tad high. Count 1-1. Ohio State on the year 22-5 when they score first, but also 11-6 when the opponent scores first. Not huge differences. The 1-1 coming is missed. 2-1. Carver, the third baseman, steps in and is ready. The 2-1 pitch coming off speed. Nice strike. Froze her once again. Beaubien's been really good at that. It's just been when the fastball catches a little too much of the plate and the big hitters connect. That has been the issue for Megan Beaubien in this game. She puts the ball back in the glove. The 2-2 coming, swinging a pop-up towards the press box, but it'll go up high and over the stadium out of play, so they'll do the 2-2 once more. Looks at the wristband, steps back on, and she's just about ready for the next pitch. The 2-2 coming once more. Swing and a miss. Got her on strikes. Nice strikeout there produced by Beaubien. That's her 6th of the game through 4 innings, but the 2 hits have been costly. Another home run for Ohio State here in the top of the 4th, and they take the lead back 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the 4th. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports. Advertisement on the board for tomorrow's game, a 1 p.m. contest between these 2 teams. That'll be the second of 3 between Ohio State and Michigan this weekend. Big matchup. It is sold out, so a little too late to get tickets, unfortunately, but we will be here covering it as we have covered most all the Michigan softball games this year. So an interesting storyline as we get ready for the bottom of the 4th. is that Ohio State, even more than their splits of scoring 3 runs versus 2 or less, is how much the opponent scores. If the opponent scores 2 runs or less, Ohio State is 21-0 on the season. So they do not lose many games when they keep the opponent to a low score. No, they will not lose this one if the opponent scores 2 or less because they've already got the 2-1 lead. So Michigan's going to need to score at least 3 to beat Ohio State. Here today, they've had some success against McCombs, putting a handful of base runners on these last 2 innings. They went 1-2-3 in the first, but they had a walk, single to score a run in the second. They got a single and a walk in the third, unable to bring those around, but they've been much more patient in attacking Shelby McCombs, looking for the right pitch to attack. And the first pitch to Aiden Falk is a ball outside. It'll be Falk, Swearingen, Hoganrod. These were the 3 that brought around the first runs of the game. Falk walked with 2 outs, a Swearingen single, and then a Hoganrod single brought home Falk. The count 1-0. That one's low and in the dirt. So count 2-0 now on Aiden Falk. Falk looks in at McCombs. The 2-0 coming, and she just gets a piece of it. Check swing. Not sure if it was going to be a strike or a ball, but it made very soft contact with the bat and bounced straight down in the dirt. 2-1 the count on Aiden Falk. She takes a strike on the outside corner. And the count goes to 2-2. McCombs has struggled continually throughout this game to get ahead of hitters, but she's been pretty darn good at working back into the counts. She has surrendered 2 walks, but otherwise she's been able to limit the damage thus far as we play in the bottom of the 4th. The 2-2 pitch is low and outside, and the count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Aiden Falk. McCombs gets the sign. She puts the glove down. The 3-2 pitch. Falk gets a piece of it and shoots it the opposite way down the left field line, but it just has enough spin that it hooks foul. Good hard contact, but a little late on the swing. And so we'll do the full count delivery once more. The left fielder Sturgeon fires it into Piper, gives it to Carver, and then over to McCombs. Puts the right foot on. And she's ready for the 3-2 once more. Swing and a miss. And Falk goes down swinging. So that's the second strikeout of the game for McCombs. And she gets the first out of the inning. Swearingen will now come up. Swearingen singled her first time up. She got ahead in that count, 3-1. Definitely a patient hitter, willing to take the walks if she can get it. She takes a strike. 0-1. Swearingen has been mostly used as a pinch hitter this season. Only 4 starts, but she's been the go-to bat off the bench. The 0-1 is a little outside. Entering the year, there was a lot of uncertainty when it came to designated player. Amanda Vargas was in that role, and then she kind of got bumped out, and she was thought to be the main pinch hitter, but has had a really rough season, and so Swearingen has really seized the main pinch hitting job. The 1-1 pitch is outside. In today's game, she's now the designated player. Count 2-1 on Swearingen. There's a pitch, swing, and a foul tip into the glove. The count 2-2. Swearingen a little late on that swing. Swearingen 1 double, 1 home run on the year. McCombs gets ready and sets the 2-2 coming. Ooh, just off the plate. A little low and outside, I guess. Either one. Good take there by Swearingen. And again, Michigan continuing to make McCombs work. The count runs full. Swearingen digs in, the wide stance. The 3-2 off speed, and that's a little, I guess, inside, and she'll take first base on a walk. So Michigan has a base runner for the third straight inning, and it'll bring up Haley Hoganrod, who had the big RBI single in the second. Was down the left field line and just clipped the line. Michigan looking for a big hit here from Hoganrod. That RBI was her 19th of the season in her breakout sophomore campaign. She takes high and in from McCombs, who continues to struggle on first pitch strikes. Count 1-0 on Hoganrod. Swearingen down there at first. The pitch is outside, and now 2-0. Combs has got to be careful. And now Gavin going out there to have a conversation, as is the second baseman Clark walking in towards the circle. It does appear that Ohio State has someone up in the bullpen. It's tough to tell from this angle. Past, yeah, it does seem like it. Over past the left field wall and the corner by the foul pole, you can see just the top of a head winding up. Not sure who it is, though, if they need to relieve McCombs. The 2-0 coming, swing and a miss. That's a big cut by Hoganrod, but she's well behind it. And the count runs to 2-1. The sun starting to get setting, and the shadows are going to become an issue. The 2-1 pitch is outside, 3-1. Hoganrod being nice and patient. And she's now ahead in the count, 3-1. See if she gets a friendly fastball, as the count would suggest. McCombs at risk of walking another hitter in this inning. The 3-1 coming is well low in the dirt. Hoganrod takes first. Swearingen down to second. And Michigan has an opportunity here with 2 on and only 1 out for the second straight inning. Unable to convert in the third. Can they get the game-tying run in here in the fourth? Natalia Rodriguez is going to step in. She'll walk over to Carol Hutchins because the Ohio State coaching staff is going to be having a conversation over in the circle as the Go Blue chant sounds here at Alumni Field. The crowd looking for a big tying run to cheer about. And the coaching conversation breaks. The infield conversation does not, as Carol Hutchins continues to talk to Natalia Rodriguez. That conversation broken up by Brian Smith, who then goes out to make sure that we're getting ready back to the action. Natalia Rodriguez with runners in scoring position, a .286 average entering the weekend. She's hitting .273 on the year, so a little bit better with runners in scoring position than overall, but not much difference. Only 28 at-bats in those situations. She does sacrifice quite a bit. The freshman slapper. And she takes a strike on the outside corner. She grounded out back in the third, or excuse me, in the second, grounded out to third back in the second inning. That ended the inning. It was a first pitch ground out right after the Hoganrod game-tying single. The 0-1 coming. She shows bunt and whiffs. And now it is 0-2. She's quickly behind in the count. An interesting approach given that, well, Michigan has had success drawing walks. Pulled in at the line at third is Carver. Piper shading over towards third to cover in case the bunt does get laid down. The 0-2 coming, and it's a slap to third. Gotta hurry is Carver, and she fires over to get Rodriguez at first, but it'll move the runners over to second and third and bring up Faith Canfield with an opportunity or now the runners are having to go back. It's like called out on an infraction is my guess. So the runners will go back to first and second, but still a runner in scoring position for Canfield. It's a ball inside, but Canfield happens to be Michigan's best hitter with runners in scoring position, a .471 average, 24 for 51. The 1-0 coming is a strike. Canfield, so far in this game, a ground out to third and a fly out to left, unable to make a lot of hard contact, but she's a .400 hitter on the year, .471 with runners in scoring position. So definitely a potent bat, trying to bring in the tying run for the Wolverines. The 1-1 pitch is outside. The count goes to 2-1. Canfield getting ahead of McCombs. Taps the plate once with the bat, and now she gets ready. The 2-1 pitch coming is in the dirt, and the count goes to 3-1. Canfield steps out and does a practice swing. The 3-1 pitch on the way. She swings and is just out in front of it, and grounds it foul. 3-2 the count on Faith Canfield. Michigan looking for the big hit. Punching the glove is Gavin, trying to egg on her pitcher McComb. She's in a jam. Some long innings and another full count against Faith Canfield. Runners on first and second and 2 outs. Here's the pitch. It's in the dirt, down and away. And now the bases are loaded. McCombs has walked the bases loaded. And so that'll bring up Natalie Peters with nowhere to put her. And Peters is a slap hitter, but you got to think that given the command issues that McCombs has been having in this game, that Michigan is going to try to be a little bit more patient with Peters. Peters, for her credit, does have 11 walks in over 160 plate appearances. Not a high walk rate, but she hits one back up the middle off the runner, and 1 run will score. Runner coming home. That one will score. But they say the ball hit Swearingen, so that will be an out. Or an out at third, but the inning ends. And so the ball hits the runner and the runs don't score, which will bring us to the 5th. Well, that was interesting. Natalie Peters was hitting one clearly into the gap that was going to bring at least 2 runs home and give Michigan the lead. And just unable to get out of the way was Taylor Swearingen on a line drive, and so it ends the inning. Hard to get more unlucky than that. But Michigan's had a lot of success at the plate in these innings. They just got to keep grinding. As we will head to the top of the 5th. Ohio State still clinging to a 2-1 lead with a little luck. Bobian goes out there to begin her practice swings. So we get started here for the top of the 5th. It'll be Ashley Goodwin. That's a ball 1-0. There's a called strike. So 1-1, the count on Goodwin. Bobian's 1-1 pitch is a strike. Goodwin popped up foul to first, her last time up in the second. 9 homers herself, one of the power hitters for Ohio State. Bobian's ahead of her 1-2. The pitch, a little high and tight. Bobian steps back on with a 2-2 count. There's a swing and a pop-up. Moving backwards to catch it is Rodriguez, the shortstop, and she hauls it in. 1 out in the top of the 5th. So Bree Betchel comes up now with 1 out in the top of the 5th. Megan Bobian so far in this game pretty good. 6 strikeouts through 4 1/3 thus far. 2 hits, but both those left the yard, and that's the difference in the game. Betchel takes a swing and chops it back to the screen foul. Count is 1-1. Bobian has not surrendered a walk. And certainly the wind a factor on some of those home runs, helping to blow them out. With 35, 40 mile an hour gusts today, very windy. Ball in the dirt, 2-1. On Bree Betchel. On deck is Becca Gavin. Bobian puts the ball in the glove. The 2-1 pitch is a strike. And so the count evens up at 2-2. Two and 2 the count on Betchel. Here's the pitch. Ooh, just outside. 3-2, that's a gutsy take from Betchel. And she's worked the count full. Gavin on deck for Ohio State. Bobian puts the ball in the glove. The 3-2 pitch. Got her on the outside corner. Strikeout number 7. Megan Bobian. A really good day today for the Wolverines. Becca Gavin now will come to the plate. Gavin struck out looking her last time up. Oh, and 1 the count, puts the ball in the glove, and she delivers the pitch a little inside. Bobian, wearing her distinctive sunglasses, steps on the rubber, puts the ball in the glove, the windup, the delivery, the 1-1 pitch a little inside. 2-1 on Gavin. And out for a conversation goes Katie Alexander, saw something she didn't like. Gavin does have 2 home runs despite a pretty dreadful offensive season, only 168 average. 14 walks to 35 strikeouts, one of those coming today. The 2-1 coming to Gavin, off speed, nice strike call. Good pitch there from Megan Bobian. And now the count evens up at 2-2, looking for her 8th strikeout victim. See if what she uses to try and carve up Gavin. See if she goes back to the fastball or sticks off speed. The 2-2 swing and a miss. Went back with the high heat. The rise ball gets her on a strike, and that'll end the inning. So we go to the bottom half of the 5th. Our score, Ohio State 2, Michigan 1. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports. So, as we look at a little bit of a game recap for those just joining us, both teams scored once in the second for Ohio State. It was an Emily Clark leadoff home run in the second. For Michigan, it was a 2-out walk by Falk a 2-out single by Swearingen and a 2-out single by Haley Hoganrod. 6-7-8 to bring in the tying run. Then in the fourth, Ohio State got a run off a Lily Piper leadoff home run, and it appeared that Michigan was going to get at least one, probably two, off just an absolute rocket off the bat of Natalie Peters, who hit a liner that was going to go up the middle towards the gap. And Taylor Swearingen, who was standing on second, did her absolute best to try to get out of the way, but no runner would have dodged that. And it just nicked her foot, and by the rules, that is an out. So a go-ahead hit was called back. So Michigan going to have to go back out there and try to have some more success in this inning. But the last three, they've really hurt Shelby McCombs. They put 2 runners on each of the last 3 innings, loading the bases in the fourth. 7 runners left on base for Michigan, but again, that statistic a little bit skewed given the events of the Peters play. But you can't get discouraged about an unlucky situation that goes against you. You got to keep grinding, and here's Tara Blanco to lead off. It'll be Blanco, Uden, and Alexander to face McCombs. Off-speed pitches outside. Michigan has really been exploiting McCombs' lack of command. They walked the bases loaded in that last inning. Count 1-0. Blanco takes a strike. Blanco with 10 home runs, certainly a threat to hit one out, and with the wind blowing as heavily as it is, you just get one up there and you can watch it fly. But Michigan's been opting to take the walk more than they have to get the hit, which certainly, if that's what's being thrown, the 1-1 is out, down and away. Blanco struck out her first time up, swinging variety, then walked in the third. Draws a high amount of walks, which bumps her OBP over 500. We'll see if she can get on base to lead off the bottom of the fifth. She takes a strike, 2-2. Crowd not sure about that call from home plate umpire Brian Smith. And it evens the count. Uden on deck. McCombs put the ball in the glove. The 2-2 bounces in. And now the count goes to 3-2 once more. Both these teams very good when they lead after 5 innings. Ohio State 24-1. They're trying to keep the lead here in the fifth, but it's going to be tricky to do with the meat of the order, including Blanco here at the plate. 3-2 pitch from McCombs, and Blanco hits it. Knocked down by the first baseman. Is she going to have a play? No, she's not. Oh boy, a really bad play there defensively by Goodwin, and Blanco beats out a hit down the line. They're going to give her an infield single. And now we're going to have a pinch runner, Nikki Wald, coming in for Tara Blanco. And that was a weird play. It was a hard hit ball to first, and Goodwin attempted to backhand it. She knocked it down, got it in front of herself, and then she just kind of slow poked it to pick it up. And, I mean, there was a play there. The second baseman, Clark, also came over, as did the pitcher, McCombs, to try to help. And all three just kind of stood there. No one made a run to the base. And Blanco, who's not the fastest runner, manages to beat it out. Defensive miscue there by Ohio State. They give it a hit to Blanco. And now the pinch runner, Wald, over there at first. She's got 6 steals, twice caught stealing on the season, 75% conversion. Wouldn't shock me if they had her go and testing the arm of Gavin. And I think there's something going on with the first baseman, Goodwin. I think contacts in her eye might have came out during that play and maybe contributed to her being unable to make the play, because she's standing in the circle looking like she's putting them back in her eye with the athletic trainer, and the rest of the infield surrounding her. Now she's going to have to come out. She's jogging into the dugout with home plate umpire Brian Smith watching. And now maybe they're opening a new box of contacts. Tough to tell what's going on over there. The rest of the infield still standing in the circle. And Madison Uden, the next hitter. And now I think she's got it. And she gets tossed her glove. I think she's okay. And now they bring her back out there. And we'll get going. Madison Uden on deck. and she will step into the batter's box. Walled down there at first. We'll see if they move her up through the steal. Don't have the numbers on Gavin's arm on me, but Michigan likely has that scouting report. Wall doesn't go. The first pitch is high. And once again, McCombs, the command, really coming unscrewed. Now, the Ohio State media guide does not state Gavin's caught stealing thrown out numbers. The 1-0 coming. Uden shows bunt and takes it for a strike. Walled down there at first. She's one of the seniors here on senior weekend. And the shadow's becoming a factor. They're just casting the shadow across the diamond. McCombs now starting to be shaded in the circle, and Uden hits one. That's going to be in the gap. It's going to get down. It's going to roll all the way to the wall. Wald's being round around third, and they're going to hold her there. Carol Hutchins throws up the stop sign, but an emphatic fist pump there from Madison Uden puts runners on second and third, and nobody out here in the bottom of the fifth for the Wolverines. Uden takes off her elbow pads, tosses it into the dugout. So she's on second. Wald, the speedy runner, is on third. Michigan has the tying and go-ahead runs in scoring position with nobody out. And Katie Alexander up at the plate. Wald's a really good runner, very fast. And with the wind, you got to think anything in the outfield will score. And there's a grounder right to third. And that is a first out. Boy, that is not what Michigan wanted. Just about the worst type of out outside of the strikeout. Carver throws out Alexander at first, and so quickly one out in the inning. But here's Aiden Falk. A walk and a strikeout in today's game. For Aiden Falk, Michigan looking for the big hit. Runners on second and third. Falk takes the first pitch outside. The Let's Go Blue chants sound here in the capacity crowd at Alumni Field, trying to egg their team on. Looking for a big hit from Falk. She swings and fouls it back to the screen, looking to time it up. Michigan started to get some really good swings off of Shelby McCombs. Natalie Peters hit the rocket that would have given Michigan the lead, but had it called out on the infraction with Swearingen. And then the double by Uden, another really, really fine play. And good contact all the way out towards the wall. Once again, a fly out to the outfield, as long as it's medium depth, probably does the job with Wald over there on third. Michigan looking for the tying and go-ahead runs. But the command problems for McCombs, 5 walks in the game today, are an issue. 5 walks, 6 hits for the Wolverines. But only 1 run thus far, trying to change that here in the bottom of the fifth. The 1-1 coming to Falk. It's in the dirt, 2-1. Falk very patient. This is an at-bat where McCombs really needs a strikeout. And Falk is certainly susceptible to it. 38 strikeouts leads the team. The 2-1 pitch is in the dirt. And now the count is 3-1 on Aiden Falk. We'll see if McCombs gives her anything good, or if she'll walk the bases loaded again in the second straight inning. Checks the wristband, she steps on. The 3-1 on the way, and it is outside. That's ball 4. Throw down to third. Keeps Wald there, but now the bases are loaded and nobody out. For Taylor Swearingen. And we'll see if we have a pitching change coming. It looks like Ohio State coach Kelly Kovac Shanley is having a conversation with Brian Smith, and someone is jogging out, and it looks like we do have a pitching change. It's going to be number 6, Morgan Ray. And we're just starting to get the defensive changes that are going to be going on here, because they're going to want to keep Shelby McCombs in the lineup, I got to imagine. Hail to the victor sounds as we're waiting on all of the defensive changes for Ohio State. There's a huge conversation going on between the Ohio State coaching staff and the defense, figuring out who's going to be playing where as Jordan Ray comes into the game for Ohio State. That's a good pitching change by the Buckeyes, because really McCombs was reaching her expiration in these last couple of innings. So Michigan's going to have to face a new pitcher. With Taylor Swearingen at the plate. Swearingen this season with runners in scoring position is 1 for 9, not too great. She's got or actually now 2 for 10 with the single back in. Oh no, that was with runner on first. So 1 for 9 on the year, 111 average. So the changes for Ohio State. Number 11, just been told number 11, Bree Betchel, has moved to right field as Swearingen takes strike one from Morgan Ray, a 2.16 ERA and a 1.36 whip. So pretty solid numbers for Ray, but she also struggles with the walk, 100 of those in 146 innings. And Swearingen is the type to draw one. The 0-1 pitch is low. Gutsy take there from Swearingen. And the count is even 1-1. This crowd looking to erupt. And a big hit from Swearingen. We'll see if they can get it. She's 250 with runners on, as opposed to the 111 with runners in scoring position, but small sample size. She's way out in front of that one and pops it up foul, 1-2. Ray definitely a good strikeout pitcher. She has 138 of those in 146 innings. Swearingen 2 strikeouts in 16 at-bats on the season with the 9 walks. 40% of her plate appearances have been walks. The 1-2 coming way outside, and a great job there by Becca Gavin to lean out and grab it. She keeps it there, so the count is 2-2. On Taylor Swearingen. Facing Morgan Ray. The 2-2, and she swings and I guess that's a strikeout. She swung and she missed it, or no, she got a piece. So they say foul. We'll do it again. It was a rise ball, and apparently she just did get a piece. Maybe she didn't. I don't know what's going on. She's walking out of the batter's box. Yeah, and so she is out, I think. Now Carol Hutchins is walking over. She doesn't know what's going on. No one does. The crowd is a little fired up here. I thought I saw Brian Smith go up with the right arm as if to say an out. But man, this game has had it all. And now there's going to be a talk between the 3 umpires. Not sure what's going on. And so the 3 umpires continuing to talk. They've walked away from Carol Hutchins, and now they're having a talk. The pitch was high, and it got a piece, I think, of Swearingen's bat. Maybe it didn't, but it got way, and now they do call her out, and the crowd is just raining boos. And Carol Hutchins is furious. Just shouting at Brian Smith right by home plate as she retreats to her third base coaching spot, just looking to get thrown out. But regardless, it's going to bring up Haley Hoganrod with 2 outs and the bases loaded. And this crowd continuing to rain boos down. This ball, first pitch is low, ball 1. Hoganrod is reached base twice today, a single and a walk. Both would score the big tying run. Michigan trying not to strand runners on again. The 1-0 pitch, that's outside, 2-0. Nowhere to put Haley Hoganrod. Morgan Ray talking with her infielders. Hoganrod swings and misses. She was way late on that one. And so the count 2-1. There are a few Ohio State fans out in above the OSU dugout, and they're animated. This crowd is animated. Everyone is fired up. 2-1 on Hoganrod. Here's the pitch. She swings and gets a piece. Ray looking for another strikeout. And this is a very vocal crowd. Count 2-2. Looking for the big hit from Hoganrod. The 2-2, she swings and pops it up foul, and it will just get down. And this crowd, man, after every single pitch that is thrown, is just yelling. A lot of tensions in a rivalry matchup. Hoganrod steps in. Two, and now a conversation between Gavin and Ray. She'll retreat behind home plate. Count is 2-2. Hoganrod digs back in. Here's the pitch. That one's in the dirt. 3-2 on Hoganrod. Nowhere to put her. And Hutch firing the crowd up, asking them to get on their feet and get loud, as Morgan Ray is going to deliver the 3-2 pitch in just a moment. She steps back on. Crowd loud. The 3-2. Hoganrod fouls it down the right field line. Looked like he was going to get a little high. Might have been ball 4, but Hoganrod wants the big hit. Let's Go Blue from the Alumni Band is sounding. Hoganrod digs back in. Checking the wristband is Morgan Ray. Crowd is loud. The 3-2. It's outside! Woo, doggies! That'll tie the game. Brian Smith, woo! Wow, that pitch, I mean, it must have just been outside. Hoganrod took it like she knew it was a ball all the way, and then just kind of peeked behind her to make sure. And she went down. The crowd sounds. It's now 2-2. And we're going to have a pinch hitter for Natalia Rodriguez. It's going to be Lou Allen with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Michigan looking for a hit to get the lead. They've now tied it at 2 here in the bottom of the 5th in a very tense game between rivals. And now a big conversation in the circle with the Buckeyes infield and catcher Gavin. Allen taking her practice swings. She's been in a big slump recently. Her average, once up almost in the 350 range, is now fallen all the way to 232 with a 329 OBP, but she's got power. And she's looking for a big hit. First pitch to Allen is a strike. Oh, and 1 on Allen. Here's the pitch, it's low. Michigan really exploiting Ohio State's tendency to walk. They've had 1 walk now off of Ray, that's Hoganrod. Here's the pitch, it's a strike on Allen. So the count 1-2. Ray has managed to get ahead of Allen. He needs 1 more pitch to get out of the inning. Michigan trying to get their first lead of the game. The 1-2 coming. That one's low and outside. 2-2. This crowd really into it. This is the most fired up Alumni's been all season, no question. A good atmosphere on a nice day in May. The count 2-2. Ray delivers, and Allen swings and pops it up, arcing foul, and it will land just a couple rows in front of us here on the first baseline, right in front of the press box. So the count stays 2-2. Allen taking good swings and staying alive as the event staff reclaims that softball. The 2-2, Allen swings and grounds it deep in the hole to short, and they're going to have no play. The run scores. Allen is fired up. She hit it deep in the hole. Lily Piper just had no play. I mean, Allen is probably the slowest runner on Michigan with the knee issues, but even that deep in the hole, it was going to take a hell of a throw from Piper, and her initial looks obviously were to second and third for the forces. Both runners were there. So she just held on to it, and Michigan takes the 3-2 lead. Finally, the big hit from Lou Allen breaking through. Natalia Rodriguez over at first. And now Faith Canfield at the plate. Canfield takes strike 1. Oh, and 1 the count on Canfield. The 0-1 pitch is low. 1-1 the count on Faith Canfield. She taps the plate. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Michigan taking a 3-2 lead. The 1-1 is a strike. On the outside corner, a lot of tight calls this inning from home plate umpire Brian Smith. He's been embroiled in controversy as Michigan has reclaimed the has taken the lead for the first time today with a 2 spot here in the bottom of the 5th, trying to make it more. The 1-2 to Canfield, and she just does get a piece. So this has been a really long inning now, I have to remark, because that was pitch now number 20 for Morgan Ray. And she came in with the bases loaded that had been the result of some walks from Shelby McCombs. I mean, this inning, I don't know off the top of my head the length exactly, but it's got to be about 30 minutes now. Here's the pitch. Canfield grounds it to short. Going to have to be a quick play from Piper, and she does make it. Beats out Canfield at first. So Canfield now 0 for 3 on the day, but Michigan gets the big 2 runs they need to take a 3-2 lead, headed to the top of the 6th. Our score, Michigan 3, Ohio State 2. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports. treating you there to the Michigan Alumni Band as we get ready for the 6th inning of action. Michigan now with the 3-2 lead, their first lead of the game. Seven hits for Michigan, 3 runs. 2 hits, 2 runs for Ohio State. And the first pitch to Taylor White is in the dirt. White, the center fielder, is the 9-hitter. It'll be 9-1-2 in the top of the 6th, but Ohio State is going to send their big hitters to the plate at least once more in this one. The 1-0 pitch off speed. Nice delivery there, swing and a miss. Beaubien through 5 innings. Very, very good. 8 strikeouts. 2 hits, no walks, but the 2 hits, both solo home runs. The 1-1 coming, strike call there on White. And the count 1-2. Piper, McCombs, Clark, the big 3 hitters. They're going to come up at least once more if Michigan wants to earn Game 1 win of this series. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Shea got her on strikes. A rise ball, and White is sat down swinging for the 2nd time today. And that'll bring up Bailey Sturgeon. So Michigan on the season, 38-1 when scoring first. They did not do that, but they are 36-3 when they score 3 runs or more, and there's a strike to Sturgeon. They have scored at least 3 in this one, so the numbers are on their side. They're also 28-1 when they lead after 5, which was the case here today. 25-1 when they lead after 6. The one exception, the game against Indiana last weekend on Saturday. The 0-1 pitch is outside, 1-1. Sturgeon in this game lined out to first in the 1st inning and then struck out looking in the 3rd. The 1-1 is tapped back to the screen softly, 1-2. Sturgeon steps out, does a couple of practice swings, and then steps back in. Shows the bunt to Beaubien. The 1-2 coming just off the plate outside. A lot of close calls. Some big calls that home plate umpire Brian Smith has had to make here in this game. A game full of excitement. The 2-2 coming, and it is tapped slowly. It goes foul, and that's a lucky break there for Michigan because the speedy Sturgeon was going to beat it out. Uden really was not going to have a play, but it managed to dribble foul. So the count stays 2-2 on Sturgeon. Beaubien looking for her 10th strikeout, trying to make Sturgeon a victim for the 2nd time today. She steps back on, looks in at Alexander, puts the glove on the ball, and she delivers just outside. 3-2, some good pitches, but just missing. And stepping in to say some words is Faith Canfield. Canfield said something to Beaubien, then steps back. She puts the ball in the glove. The 3-2, and it's lined foul down the left field line. Past the diving Uden, but another foul down that line by Bailey Sturgeon, who's putting together a fantastic at-bat against Megan Beaubien. Doesn't walk a lot, 6 in over 130 plate appearances, but she's worked the count full. One of the few full counts Ohio State has had against Beaubien. The 3-2 once more, and that one is tapped foul down the first base line this time. Blanco came over to field it. If she had ran up a little bit farther and scooped it up before it went foul, she would have had an easy out. But she waited a bit and let it trickle foul anyway. So this is a long at-bat. Beaubien's thrown 78 pitches so far in this one. Puts the ball in the glove. The 3-2 once more. Swing and oh, she got a piece. And now the crowd very vocal and animated about that one. They thought that was a swing and a miss, but not a bad result for Michigan because that ball was going to the backstop, and Sturgeon, a speedy runner, probably was going to beat it out as a strikeout reaching first. So the long at-bat continues. Who will win it? The 3-2 from Beaubien once more, and that's a grounder to short. Rodriguez has got to hurry. Throw. Got her at first. Nice play there by Natalia Rodriguez. So slick, the delivery from the glove to the hand, and she fires across for the out. 2 outs. There was never really a call made there by first base umpire Erin Peterson. Very visibly, she was out, but very odd that never went up with the right arm. So that'll be 2 outs now, but this is the danger part of the Ohio State order on its way. Lily Piper at the plate. She takes a rise ball high, and Alexander's going to go out to talk. They need to have a conversation on how to attack a hitter of Piper's quality. She's got 18 homers on the year. One of them came back in the 4th. Out to right center the opposite way. Michigan protecting a 3-2 lead in the top of the 6th. The convo breaks, and Alexander goes back behind home plate. Beaubien steps on the rubber. Puts the ball in the glove, the 1-0 coming, and Piper just taps it on a check swing, and it goes back to the backstop. 1-1, Alexander scoops it up and fires it on down. Beaubien continuing to work quickly as the sun is setting. The lights have come on here at Alumni Field. Beaubien puts the ball in the glove. The 1-1 on the way. Ooh, standing up Piper high and tight. Having to get out of the way is Piper. Two and 1 on Piper. Here's the pitch, swinging a ground ball to second. Canfield from her knees, throws over to Blanco. Oh, what a play! And that'll end the top of the 6th. The Michigan defense showing off, as they say, Faith Canfield diving from her knees, throwing out Piper at first, and a nice pick by Blanco to complete the play. Michigan really clicking right now defensively. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. Our score, Michigan 3, Ohio State 2. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports. An exciting game here at Alumni. As the sun is getting close to setting, just about the whole infield is now covered in shadows. Only about the farthest part of the left side still not quite shaded. As the lights are on. And so as we get ready for the bottom of the 6th, Michigan looking to tack on some more runs to give Megan Beaubien some insurance, because he can never be too certain against that Ohio State lineup. She'll be facing McCombs, Clark, and Carver in the top of the 7th, and those 3 players combined have 29 homers between them, and in one swing of the bat, your lead can be gone. So Michigan, definitely an emphasis to tack on some insurance here, and they've got the right hitters to do it. Peters, Blanco, Uden here in the bottom of the 6th. Against Morgan Ray, who bounces one in on the first pitch. Peters steps in. The 1-0. Strike. And it is 1-1. Peters steps out and does a couple half swings, asks for time as she steps back in. Ray quickly on the rubber, and she delivers. The 1-1 is in the dirt. 2-1. The count on Natalie Peters so far in this game, 2 for 3 as she continues a torrid second half of the season. Grounded out to short her first time up, but then a couple singles with the really unfortunate situation back in the 4th. The 2-1 is a ball outside. Now the count 3-1. I'm glad that they gave her a hit on that line out where it hit Swearingen's foot, because that was a really fine piece of hitting, just a rocket. And, you know, that was a couple RBIs she was denied because it hit Swearingen on the base paths. But glad they gave it to her. The 3-1, and she fouls it back to the screen. And the count runs full. Blanco on deck, followed by Uden here in the bottom of the 6th. Ray steps back on. The 3-2. It's in the dirt, and Peters draws a leadoff walk, and she is always a threat to steal. So we'll see if Michigan chooses to advance her down there. They could, but Blanco at the plate, also not a lot of reason to be aggressive. You trust your 3-4 hitters. Blanco at the plate. Today, a strikeout in the 1st, a walk in the 3rd, a single in the 5th. First pitch is high and outside, and Ray has the command issues that McCombs had. 2 walks in 2/3 of an inning so far in this one for Morgan Ray, including the game-tying walk issued to Haley Hoganrod in the 5th. The 1-0, Blanco lays down a bunt, and Ray throws it down to first. That was a little weird. Blanco, such a good hitter, decides to lay down the bunt, but Michigan small balling it here in the bottom of the 6th, hoping for a big hit from Uden to give them that insurance that they want for Beaubien. Uden out of the batter's box, takes a couple half swings, extends the bat with the arms over the back, and then digs in. On the day, 2 basically identical pop-outs to 3rd, and then a double in the gap. She came around to score on the Allen single, and she takes ball 1 from Ray. Uden watching Ray. Here's the pitch. She swings and hits it high in the air. Pop up into shortstop Piper, who makes the catch. So no dice there for Uden, but we'll see if Alexander can bring in the run. She's had a pretty rough day at the plate. A fly out to right, an unassisted ground out to the pitcher, and then a ground out to 3rd are her 3 at-bats in this game in the 2nd, 3rd, and 5th innings. But always never a bad time to get involved in the action. She takes strike 1, 0-1. Peters down there at 2nd. She was advanced on a sac bunt by Blanco. Uden unable to bring her in. The 0-1, that's outside, down and away to Alexander. She steps out and takes 1 emphatic practice swing. And then brushes the foot once as she steps in and waits on the 1-1 delivery from Ray. It's inside, 2-1. Our score, Michigan 3, Ohio State 2. We're playing the bottom of the 6th. The runner on 2nd and 2 outs for the catcher, Alexander. She steps back in, taps the plate, winds the bat around the arm, and now she swings and hits one. It's a looper into center field. Coming on and in, Taylor White to make a underhanded basket catch in center field and keeping that runner on 2nd, Peters. So we head to the top of the 7th, rather. Our score, Michigan 3, Ohio State 2. You're listening to Michigan Softball on WCBN Sports. Ohio State will have 3, 4, 5 here in the top of the 7th. McCombs, Clark, and Carver. 3 of the better hitters in the Ohio State lineup. including Clark, who had the first home run in the game in the second. Beaubien obviously a top priority, limiting the big hits and the home run power that Ohio State has. The wind not blowing quite as much right now. The American flag is sort of crumpled a bit and just lightly blowing around the flagpole, but not nearly the same gusts we had earlier in the game. And the whole infield plus Alexander and Beaubien meet in the circle for a conversation as it gets set for the top of the 7th. Around the Big Ten, Minnesota and Penn State tied at 0 in the top of the 5th. That's the score Michigan is watching. They have a 1-game lead over the Golden Gophers in the Big Ten chase. A sweep guarantees the Big Ten outright and the #1 seed next week in Madison, Wisconsin. There's a strike to Shelby McCombs. 0-1 the count. McCombs, the pitcher in the game, shifted to designated player when she was relieved by Morgan Ray. .357 hitter, the senior. And she swings and misses, and the count goes to 0-2. The rise ball from Beaubien, and McCombs whiffs. Ohio State just 2 hits on the game, no walks, none left on base because there are only 2 hits, both left the yard. The 0-2, swing and a miss! Got her the same way. The rise ball strikeout is K number 10 for Megan Beaubien, and Michigan 2 outs away here in the top of the 7th. And so it'll be Emily Clark stepping in. Clark, the second baseman, a junior who had the home run earlier in the game, and she takes the ball a little low. Popped up to second in the 4th. .275 hitter, .346 OBP, 12 home runs though. Here's the 1-0 pitch, that's low, and Alexander immediately jumps up to go talk to Beaubien. The 2-0 count. Have to be careful trying to keep runners off the base paths here in the top of the 7th. Michigan, as you mentioned, 25-1 when they lead after 6 innings, but that heartbreaking game in Indiana last week, the evidence that you can never be too sure, trying to close out game 1 of a 3-game set. The 2-0 coming, that's a strike. And this crowd reacting to every pitch Beaubien throws. 2-1. The count on Clark, the righty hitter, against the lefty Beaubien. The 2-1 pitch, strike call, and now the count is 2-2. Clark, a little disoriented, just kind of standing there and watching it, not really looking involved in the at-bat, and she takes a long step out of the batter's box. And the count now 2-2. Beaubien puts the ball on the glove. Here's the pitch, swinging and just getting a piece. Fouling it back to the screen, Emily Clark. Another rise ball that she just nicks and puts it back against the screen. But again, not really looking too cued in on the stuff that Beaubien is dealing. The 2-2 pitch, swing and a little blooper. That's going to get down in left field. A very soft base hit, but it gives the Ohio State Buckeyes a base runner with 1 out. Beaubien went off speed with that one, and Clark way out in front of it just managed to bloop it into left field for Ohio State's 3rd hit of the game. So Beaubien now going to have to deal with runners on. Nikki Carver at the plate, 5 home runs for her. First pitch, swing and a miss. She was way out in front of that off-speed pitch and whiffed right by it, 0-1. Clark standing on first, does have 3 steals, has not been caught this season, but not likely, I don't think, to test Alexander. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Beaubien blows it by Nikki Carver. That deadly combination of the off-speed and the heater. And the count 0-2 on Nikki Carver. Beaubien puts the ball in the glove. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. She got her on strikes. And that's strikeout number 11 on the day for Beaubien. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. The last call for the Buckeyes is Ashley Goodwin. But you got to be careful with her. 9 home runs herself. And We Will Rock You sounds at Alumni Field. Michigan 1 out away. Here's the first pitch. Goodwin gets a piece. Back to the screen. Bobian just firing the heat right now, in command of her pitches. Not too worried about Clark down there at first. Michigan 3, Ohio State 2. We're in the top of the 7th. Michigan 1 out away. The 0-1 pitch. Strike call on the off speed. Freezing Goodwin. And now 0-2. Michigan 1 strike away. Everybody on their feet at Alumni Field. The cheers sounding. Goodwin steps back in. Bobian the ball in the glove. The 0-2 pitch coming. And it rises a little high. Good take there from Goodwin. Not phased. The count 1-2. The adrenaline, no doubt, in the bodies of all these players. High pressure situation. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a liner to right field. Hoganrod coming over. She makes the catch, and Michigan seals game 1. Our score: the Wolverines 3, Ohio State 2. It was a high intensity game full of pressure situations, but a gritty win by the Wolverines, falling behind Ohio State twice, but battling back and getting some big 2-out hits from Hoganrod in the second, a 2-out walk from Hoganrod in the 5th, and then a 2-out single from Allen in the 5th. Clutch at bats by Michigan, getting their 3 runs. Ohio State, their 2. From a pair of home runs. Overall, just a well-played game all around. But in the end, Michigan manages to sneak out with the win. Both teams doing their handshake lines. But they will be right back at it in well less than 24 hours. More like 17 hours. A 1 o'clock start tomorrow. We'll be here calling the game once again on WCBN Sports. So our final score: Michigan 3, Ohio State 2. The loss to Shelby McCombs, 15-5. She drops 6 hits, 6 walks, 2 strikeouts, 3 runs, 3 earned in 4 1/3 for her. Bobian, really, really good. 7 innings, 3 hits, no walks, 2 earned on the pair of homers, but 11 strikeouts, and she handled the 1-run lead in the 6th and the 7th magically, getting through the dangerous Ohio State order and giving Michigan a big win here in game number 1. And they have an opportunity to clinch the Big Ten title this weekend if they win these next 2. So we'll be right back at it tomorrow, 1 o'clock start. With that, I thank you for joining me from Alumni Field. Alex Drain signing off. Good night, and go blue.